Hey there, Joel here, and welcome to my channel Math World. Today we're going to discuss something about zeros of a polynomial, and I'm sure that you must have studied this in the 9th standard. If you have already forgotten, then continue watching the video. Zeros of a polynomial is that number when substituted gives an answer 0. I hope something you have recollected. If you have not, then let us take an example. I have two examples over here. One is polynomial, which is 3x minus 6. Can you tell me what kind of a polynomial this is based on the number of terms, and secondly based on the degree? I'll pause the video. You can comment down below what is this, and similarly you can try telling me about this one as well. I'm sure you have done commenting. Okay, let us continue. So this is 3x minus 6. So what are we saying? Zeros of a polynomial is that number when substituted gives an answer 0. So let us take an example. Over here, instead of x, let me put 1 minus 6. So if I do that, I'll get 3 minus 6, which will be minus 3. Is my answer 0 over here? No. That means this number which you have substituted is not the 0 of the polynomial. Let us take another example. So I'll take 3 into 2 minus 6. So this would become 3 to the 6 minus 6. My answer is 0. So this number which you have substituted is the 0 of the polynomial. So 0 of a polynomial is that number when substituted gives you the answer as 0. So in any polynomial, whenever you substitute a number and after solving that polynomial you get the final answer to be 0, then that number which you have substituted initially will be called as the 0 of the polynomial. So let us take an example over here. I'll put 2, let me try putting 2 and 8. So 2 square will become 4 minus 8. So 8 minus 8 is equal to 0, which means this 2 which I had substituted is the 0 of this polynomial. And a pro tip for you is that whenever you have a polynomial, the highest degree of that polynomial will always tell you how many such zeros are possible. So if in a linear polynomial like this, there will be only one term. There will be only one term which is going to give you that final answer to be 0. And that is over here, in this case it is 2. In a quadratic polynomial, okay, quadratic I came to know because my degree is 2. In this kind of a polynomial, there will be two numbers which will be zeros of the polynomial. The first one is 2, second one you need to find out. And it's very simple. All you have to do, if you don't know how to go about with this, all you have to do is equate this to 0. So this would become the entire thing. You keep that x on one side, transpose everything on the other side, and find out the other zeros. It is very simple. Try it out and you should be able to do it. Now, in a graphical representation, so say for example, this is one polynomial which I have plotted and I get a graph like this. There is another one which is drawn like this, and so on. Now zeros of the polynomial, I can, looking at this graph, I can tell that this polynomial, it has only 1 0. Now how do I find out? Is that wherever this polynomial cuts the x-axis will be 0 of that polynomial. So this polynomial cuts this x-axis once. Okay, so this polynomial will have 1 0. Similarly, this polynomial cuts the x-axis in two places, one over here and one over here, which means I have 2 zeros. So if it is a 2 0 polynomial, then what would be the degree of the polynomial? Degree of the polynomial will be 2. I told you the highest degree of the polynomial, those many zeros are possible. Similarly, over here, it cuts x-axis at 1, 2 and 3. So this polynomial will be called as a cubic polynomial because the degree of the polynomial is 3. Now for your exam, maybe you might get a fill in the blank. Usually fill in the blanks are not asked from this chapter, but can be asked. Okay, so they can ask you to tell in this figure which is the polynomial which has a degree 2. So all these options are there for you, and you need to be able to tell which one will have degree 2. How do I know degree? These are also called as the zeros of the polynomial. Wherever it cuts the x-axis, the number of times it will cut those many number of zeros of the polynomial. So in this case, it cuts the x-axis only once, so there is only 1 0 of the polynomial, and it will be called as a linear polynomial because the degree is 1. The number of zeros is equal to the highest degree of the polynomial. Number of zeros is equal to the number of degrees of the degrees of the polynomial. So in this case, it touches the x-axis once. That means my degree of the polynomial is 1. Here it cuts the x-axis once, twice, thrice and 4 times. That means my degree of this polynomial is 4. Also, the 0 of the polynomial is 4 because 4 zeros are possible. Not that the number is 4, but there are 4 zeros for that polynomial. If you have understood this, please hit the like button, and if you have not, please go and check the video again. Thank you and bye-bye.